do if your breakfast order delivered a girl, alive, glowing, and whispering your name? Stranded on a forgotten moon, Taryn thought he was alone. Until a machine served him something impossible. Now hunted by armed soldiers, and haunted by a past he doesn't remember giving away, he must protect the one being made from his memories, before the truth is erased forever. This isn't just survival. It's the start of something the universe tried to bury. If you are new here then, please subscribe this channel and show thumbs up by liking the video. Now let's move to this wonderful story. Taryn sat by the window of the dusty outpost, watching the pale light of morning spill across the empty hills. The stars had faded, and the silence felt heavier than usual. He rubbed his tired eyes. The station hadn't seen visitors in weeks, and his ship had been broken for 3 days now. He'd sent a signal on the first day, but no reply ever came. He didn't expect much anymore, just a warm drink, maybe something hot to eat, and a bit of quiet. The small motel he'd found was barely holding together. The walls were cracked, the lights blinked on and off like they were thinking about dying, and the food came from an old vending machine that looked like it hadn't been cleaned in years, but it worked mostly. Taryn walked to the screen behind the counter and tapped it. The menu blinked and buzzed. He ordered toast, eggs, and black tea. The screen lit up. Delivery in 5 minutes. Then it flickered and went black. He sighed and turned to sit at a table near the window, resting his arms on the scratched-up surface. Outside, the road was nothing but dust and wind. No ships flew by, no one walked past, just silence. He checked his comm again. Still nothing. The signal lines were dead. He leaned back, yawned, and stared at the empty road. Another useless morning, just like the one before. Then he heard something. A soft hiss like steam escaping. He turned. The food hatch on the far wall had opened. Strange. It was too soon. Maybe the machine had finally decided to work fast for once. He stood up and walked over, hoping the eggs weren't cold this time. But as he reached into the hatch and pulled out the tray, his hands froze. The tray was too heavy, much heavier than food should be. Wrapped in thick silver thermal foil was something long, something shaped like a person. His heartbeat quickened. Slowly, carefully, he peeled back the foil. And then he stopped breathing. It was a girl, not a robot, not a doll, a real girl. Her skin was pale with a faint shimmer, almost silver under the light. Her hair was short and white, soft like snow. She looked about 17. Her eyes were closed and her breathing was slow but steady. Taryn stared at her, not sure if he was dreaming. "What is this?" he whispered. The room was silent. No one stood behind the counter. No footsteps echoed outside. Even the cameras were still, their red lights dim. He placed a trembling hand on her wrist. It was warm, alive. He glanced at the tray again. No food, no instructions, no note. Nothing. Then she opened her eyes. They glowed a soft blue, like frost in moonlight. She looked straight at him and whispered, "Taryn." He stepped back. "How do you know my name?" he asked. Her lips moved again, but no sound came. Her fingers twitched. Her wide eyes didn't leave his face. There was something in them. Not just fear, but confusion, maybe even pain. Then the door to the motel burst open with a loud crash. Taryn jumped. 5 figures in black armor stormed. Inside, their faces hidden behind heavy helmets. They held guns pointed forward. No questions, no warning. Without thinking, Taryn grabbed the foil, wrapped the girl quickly, and lifted her. She was light. Too light. Her body felt strange, almost hollow. He ran toward his room, slammed the door, and locked it behind him. A cold voice echoed through the hallway. "Sector Patrol." "Open the door." Taryn backed away, heart pounding, still holding the girl. She stirred in his arms and whispered, "You weren't supposed to find me yet." "What are you talking about?" he asked, eyes darting to the door. "They'll kill me," she said. and they'll kill you unless we leave now. You're not human, are you? She didn't answer. She just stared at him, glowing eyes full of something he couldn't name. Sparks flew across the lock. They were cutting through. Taryn grabbed his jacket, slung the girl over his shoulder, and kicked out the old window. The glass shattered. Cold air rushed in. He climbed out and landed hard on the ground. The girl groaned softly, but he didn't stop. He ran behind the building through the swirling dust and sharp wind. Behind them, the soldiers shouted. He jumped over a fence and kept running, heading toward the cracked hills beyond the road. The girl pressed her head against his shoulder and whispered, "I'm sorry, but you're part of it now." "Part of what?" he asked. But she didn't answer. She had passed out again. Taryn kept going, feet pounding against the dry earth, lungs burning with every breath. He didn't understand what was happening. He didn't know who the girl was or why those men wanted her. But he knew one thing. He wasn't going to let them take her. Not until he found out the truth. Behind him, the motel shrank into the distance, swallowed by wind and silence. The tunnels were cold, dark, and filled with the scent of old rust and damp air. Taryn moved carefully, his footsteps quiet against the cracked metal floor. He held the girl close to his chest. Her breathing was slow, her skin glowing just faintly now. Every few seconds he looked behind him, listening for the sound of boots or machines. But so far there was nothing, only silence. He didn't know where he was going. The underground rail tunnels stretched for miles under Valen Minor. Long ago they carried cargo and people. Now they were forgotten. Dust clung to the walls like memories no one wanted. Taryn followed the path by instinct, guided only by old signs and the hope that something ahead was better than what was behind. After a while, he found a narrow side chamber, broken and half collapsed. He laid the girl down gently on a sheet of plastic and leaned against the wall. His chest hurt from running. His mind raced with questions. Who was she? Why did she know his name? Why had she come out of a food machine? Her eyes opened again, dim blue light glowing in the shadows. She looked at him with something like recognition, though she said nothing. Her lips trembled. Taryn pulled a small power cell from his belt, one he always kept for emergencies, and connected it to a thin socket near her collarbone. A soft hum filled the air as her skin lit up slowly, blue veins flickering like fire under ice. "You're not just a girl," he said, his voice low. "So, what are you?" Before she could answer, a sharp whistle came from deeper in the tunnel. Taryn jumped and pulled his knife. A figure stepped out of the darkness, hands raised. He was thin, with long hair tied back and old tech goggles strapped to his head. He looked like he hadn't seen the sun in years. "Easy," the man said. "Name's Lazik. I heard you two coming an hour ago. You're lucky it was me and not something worse." Taryn didn't lower the knife. "Who are you?" "Just someone who doesn't like company," Lazik replied. "But I help when I can, and she—" He pointed at the girl. "She's not exactly quiet." Taryn hesitated, then lowered the blade. "She needs help." Lazik walked over slowly, examining the girl without touching her. "You've got yourself a ghost link. Didn't think they were real. What's that supposed to mean?" "She's built on mirror code," Lazik explained. "It's tech they made using people's neural patterns, emotions, memories, responses. Stuff no machine is supposed to have." He paused. "They build it into special units, ones that think like us, maybe even dream." Taryn looked at the girl. "You're saying she's made from someone's mind?" Lazik gave a strange smile. "Maybe not just someone's. Maybe yours." Taryn froze. "That's not possible." "You ever donate memory fragments?" Lazik asked. "Back during the war?" Taryn said nothing. Lazik nodded. "Yeah, they paid good money to scan people's thoughts. Said it would help train AI for the battlefield, but the truth is, they wanted more than training. They wanted something alive." The girl stirred. Her voice was soft. "He's my anchor." Taryn turned to her. "What do you mean?" "My systems," she whispered. They stay stable near you. Without you, I fade. You're part of me. Your thoughts, they're in here. She touched her temple. Your feelings too. Taryn sat down slowly, his mind spinning. He remembered the helmet, the cold chair, the way they said it would be painless. A quick scan, a bit of data, and then a payment in credits. He never thought anything would come from it. I didn't know, he said. I came to find you, the girl said, because they want to take it back. The piece of you. But they don't care what happens to me. Suddenly, a high-pitched beeping echoed through the tunnel. Lazik pulled a device from his coat. They're scanning for life signs. We need to move. Now. Taryn helped the girl up, supporting her weight. She could barely stand. They'll find us if we stay, Lazik said. There's an exit through the lower passage. Old maintenance route, but we'll have to run. Taryn nodded. Lead the way. As they moved, the lights from Lazik's goggles bounced across the walls. The girl's breathing was uneven, and her glow faded with every step. Taryn kept his arm around her, whispering that it would be okay. She didn't answer, but she held on to him. Behind them, the sound of scanners grew louder. A distant clanking echoed through the tunnel, something metal, something fast. They're here, Lazik said. Move. They ran down the narrow path, dust flying, wires snapping beneath their boots. The girl stumbled once, but Taryn caught her. His heart pounded as the echoes chased them. The tunnel opened into a larger space with broken stairs leading up. This way, Lazik shouted. As they reached the top, the first drone burst into view behind them. Red lights flashed. It scanned the air, then aimed a laser. Taryn turned, knife ready. But before he could act, the girl stepped in front of him. Her hands glowed, bright blue, and a wave of energy pulsed from her body. The drone sparked and collapsed. She fell back into his arms, breathing hard. I'm still learning what I am, she whispered. Taryn held her close. Whatever you are, you're not alone. Behind them, more footsteps echoed. They weren't safe yet. The sky above Velen Minor was little more than a ceiling of rock now. They had moved deeper underground, into the ruins of an old buried city, once full of life, now a hollow grave of stone and steel. Taryn kept his arm around the girl as they walked, guiding her through crumbling hallways and rusted doors. Her steps were slow, her body weaker by the hour. Every few minutes she would pause, close her eyes, and press a hand to her chest, as if holding something in. Lazik had led them this far through hidden paths only someone who had lived in the dark would know. He walked ahead now, scanning doorways and marking turns. Taryn trusted him just enough. There wasn't much choice anymore. Behind them, the search continued. The footsteps of soldiers, the eyes of drones, the quiet hum of machines that never stopped looking. They found a broken tower at the edge of the city ruins. Inside was a room with half a roof, its walls still holding up. In one corner was a medical chair, old but working. Lazik powered it on, then stepped aside. Taryn helped the girl into the chair. Her eyes were dull now, her glow faint like fading starlight. She's draining fast, Lazik said. We need help. Someone who understands this tech better than me. Taryn didn't answer. He was staring at the girl, at the small cracks appearing in her skin, like lightning marks beneath her surface. An hour later, help came. Lazik had called, in a favor, someone from his past. A woman with sharp eyes and steady hands. Her name was Cyan, and she had once worked for the syndicate that now hunted them. She stepped into the room wearing an old coat, a tool belt across her waist. Her hair was short, her face tired, but her eyes missed nothing. She's a ghost unit, Cyan said after one look. Built from living data, very rare, very illegal. Taryn watched her carefully. Can you fix her? Cyan walked over and touched a device behind the girl's neck. Not fully, but I can buy her time. She worked quickly, attaching wires and unlocking safety panels hidden under the girl's skin. Taryn turned away once. He hated seeing her like that, broken, exposed. hurting. After a while, the girl opened her eyes again. She looked at Taryn, and for the first time in hours she smiled. "You stayed," she said softly. "Of course," he replied. "You said I'm part of you. I can't leave you behind." Cyan stepped back and folded her arms. She wasn't just built using random data. She was designed with intention, with emotion. Taryn frowned. "What do you mean?" Cyan nodded toward the girl. "You're more than a power source to her. Your thoughts, your feelings, they're inside her. That's why she came for you. She's not just linked to you. She feels you. Every choice you've made, every moment you regret. She carries it." The girl sat up slowly, her voice clear now. "They used your memories to shape my mind. I don't just remember your past. I remember how you felt. Lost, angry, hopeful. I wasn't supposed to feel anything. But I do." Taryn felt a lump rise in his throat. He remembered the day he gave away those memory files. He was broke, alone, just another soldier after the war. They told him the data would train machines to understand soldiers better. He never imagined they would use it to make something like her. "Why would they do this?" he asked. Cyan answered. "They were working on a seed, a living program that could give emotion to machines. Not fake feelings, real responses, real empathy. They wanted to use it in weapons to control behavior, but the first seed they made him was her." The girl looked down. "I wasn't meant to be awake. I was supposed to stay in a vault locked away. But something inside me, something you gave me, it wanted more. So I escaped." Taryn stared at her. "And now they want to take you back." "No," Cyan said. "Now they want to erase her, because she's proof they went too far." Before anyone could say more, the ground shook. A loud rumble echoed through the broken tower. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lazik rushed to the window and looked out. "They found us," he said. 3 carriers, 1 drone unit and Unit 9. Cyan's face went pale. "Unit 9 doesn't negotiate. It kills on command." Taryn stood, his hands clenched. "Then we don't wait." He turned to the girl. "Can you move?" She nodded. "Barely. But I'll try." He helped her up, holding her steady. She touched his chest and whispered, "You gave me life. Now I give you choice." Taryn didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. As they moved through the back exit, lasers hit the walls behind them. The building shook again. They ran. Taryn didn't know what would happen next. But he knew this. She wasn't just data. She wasn't just a project. She was someone real, and he would fight for her. The night above Valen Minor was fading. A thin line of light stretched across the jagged hills, hinting that dawn was near. The sky was still dark, but the stars were starting to disappear one by one. As if they too were retreating from what was coming, Taryn climbed the last ridge, breathing hard, his arms wrapped tightly around the girl. Her name was Neva. She hadn't spoken in nearly an hour. Her head rested against his shoulder, her skin dim, her glow nearly gone. He kept whispering her name, hoping she would answer, but she didn't. Behind him, the old city ruins were far below. Fires burned where the tower had once stood. They had barely escaped the attack. Lazik and Cyan had stayed behind to slow the soldiers. Taryn didn't know if they made it. He didn't look back. He couldn't. All he could do now was run, climb, and find a way to save her. At the top of the ridge, he found it. An old satellite dish cracked and half buried in dust. It looked useless, but the core at its base still hummed softly. Taryn laid Neva down gently, brushing dirt from her face. Her lips moved barely. A faint sound escaped. "You came back," she whispered. "I told you I would," he said, kneeling beside her. Her eyes opened just a little. "I can't go any further." "You don't have to," he replied. "We're almost out." She gave a weak smile. "I can feel the light. It's warm, like you." Taryn connected his last power cell to the dish's transmitter. He adjusted the controls, fingers trembling. The screen flickered. He sent out a wideband distress signal, hoping anyone would pick it up. Then he turned back to Neva. "You're going to make it," he said. "No," she replied softly. "I was never meant to last this long. My systems are past the limit." "Don't say that. You gave me something real," she said. "Not just data. You gave me feeling. That's all I ever wanted." Taryn didn't speak. He just held her hand. She closed her eyes. "The seed inside me. It's waking, but I don't have the strength to release it. What does that mean? If I don't share it now, it'll die with me." He looked down at her, confused and afraid. "How do we stop that?" "You already have," she whispered. Then suddenly light burst from her chest. Not bright, not burning, just soft and steady. It rose into the air like threads of blue smoke curling upward. Taryn watched in awe as the threads spread across the sky, vanishing into the fading stars. He felt something shift deep inside him, like a memory that was never his, a feeling that didn't have a name. The wind changed. The dish blinked. And somewhere far above something responded. Ships, not enemy ones, different. A patrol fleet, old Alliance colors still painted on their sides, came into view. They were circling overhead, scanning. The signal had worked. But Neva didn't react. Her eyes were closed now, her breathing slow. Taryn held her close. "Help is here," he said. "You did it." Her voice was barely more than breath. "They'll be afraid of what I gave them, but maybe someone will understand." The patrol ships landed nearby, dust flying. Medics rushed out. Taryn stepped back, letting them take her, though he kept her hand in his until the last possible second. They worked fast, scanning her, lifting her carefully, placing her into a protected pod. One of the officers came to Taryn. His armor was scratched, his face older than most. "You sent the signal?" he asked. Taryn nodded. "She needs protection. She's not a weapon. She's something new." The officer looked toward the pod. "We've heard whispers of tech like her. Thought it was all rumor. Thought no one would ever cross that line. They did," Taryn said, and then tried to destroy the proof. The officer nodded once. "We'll keep her safe, and we'll keep the truth safe too." The sun finally rose, golden light spilling over the hills. Taryn turned toward the horizon, his face tired but calm. He didn't know what came next. The war was long over, but the wounds it left were still deep. Neva wasn't a miracle. She was a reminder of what people could build and what they could destroy. A quiet voice came from behind him. "Taryn." He turned. Neva stood there, weak but standing, her body supported by the pod frame. Her glow had returned just a little. She smiled at him. "I'm still here." He walked over to her, took her hand again. "I told you," he said. "You're not alone." They stood there together on the edge of a new day. The sky above was clean and clear, the wind soft. Behind them, the world they'd escaped from smoldered. But ahead of them, there was light. Sometimes the future begins not with a battle, but with a decision to save what others tried to erase. And sometimes the ones who were never meant to exist are the ones who change everything.